Concerning news for expectant mothers this morning, with groundbreaking Australian research finding that stress during pregnancy can be just as damaging to unborn babies as smoking and drinking. For more, we're joined by today medical expert Dr Rick Gordon. Rick, good morning to you.
Morning, Georgie.
All right, so this study is from the Australian National University. It's the first of its kind. Just take us through the findings.
We know stress is bad for you. There's a lot of research that says if you're stressed, then this may have implications for your baby's health down the track. This particular study looked at 123 pregnant women in their first pregnancy, exposed them to a form of stress called conflict discussion with their partner, where they had to address certain stressors in their relationship, measured their stress hormone level, cortisol, and said those that responded with a great reactivity of cortisol under this stressful event, their children actually did better. So you have to look at that. Sounds counterintuitive. That's like saying, well, if I respond to stress well, my baby will do well. But it's the long-term stressors, it's the chronic anxiety, chronic depression, which blunts your response to stress, and that has a negative effect on your baby long-term.
And what sort of negative effect are we talking?
This particular study looked at children 1 year, 6 months, 1 year and 3 years after they were born, and mothers reporting how often they went to the doctor, upper respiratory tract infections, fevers, colds and things like that. So it's having a physiological effect on their baby's health.
OK. And affecting their immune system specifically?
Well, yes, there's certainly evidence to say that depending on impact during pregnancy and effect on in utero factors will affect the way a baby matures in its immune system. Absolutely.
As you well know, so much attention is given to pregnant women about the risks associated with drinking, smoking, taking drugs while pregnant. Do you think there needs to be better education about managing mental health while you're pregnant?
Definitely. I think there's been a huge swing towards that just in the last few years. There are now institutions and foundations around, like the Gidget Foundation, Beyond Blue. There is now Medicare payments for looking after the mental health of our pregnant women. So there has been a cultural shift, certainly in Australia, to look at the mental health of pregnant women, not only for their long-term outcomes, but according to this study, the outcomes of the babies as well. So I think we're much more attuned into it.
So how much importance would you place on this particular study? Because the last thing we want to do is give pregnant women more reason to be anxious and stressed.
Look, I think that the bottom line is don't stress the small stuff. In other words, we all respond to stress and we respond to it appropriately by putting out cortisol. In other words, how we react to stress is having much more of an effect on our children than long-term anxiety and depression. So if you're going into a pregnancy with those particular problems, or you feel that the pregnancy is getting on top of you, speak to someone about it. Partner, friends, certainly medical professionals, because the resources now are being invested in this area.
All right. Interesting information, Rick. Thank you. Good to see you, by the way.
Welcome
back.
Thank you.